Language Foundations Vocabulary Flashcards, helping you achieve understanding.
The persons, are committees or departments, etc., who make up a body for the purpose of administering something. He quickly became recognized as a member of the establishment. An organization founded and united for a specific purpose. The cognitive process of establishing a valid proof. Ecology, the process by which a plant or animal becomes established in a new habitat. The act of forming or establishing something. It was the establishment of his reputation. Any large organization. A public or private structure, business or governmental or educational, including buildings and equipment for business or residence. The persons, are committees or departments, etc., who make up a body for the purpose of administering something. He claims that the present administration is corrupt. The act of meting out justice according to the law. The act of governing, exercising authority. The tenure of a president. Things were quiet during the Eisenhower administration. A method of tending to or managing the affairs of some group of people, especially the group's business affairs. The act of administering medication. The persons, are committees or departments, etc., who make up a body for the purpose of administering something. A wind instrument that consists of a brass tube, usually of variable length, that is blown by means of a cup-shaped or funnel-shaped mouthpiece. A memorial made of brass. Impudent aggressiveness. The section of a band or orchestra that plays brass instruments. An alloy of copper and zinc. An ornament or utensil made of brass. The persons, are committees or departments, etc., who make up a body for the purpose of administering something. The governance of an association is responsible to its members. The act of governing, exercising authority. The persons, are committees or departments, etc., who make up a body for the purpose of administering something. The persons, are committees or departments, etc., who make up a body for the purpose of administering something. An ordered manner, orderliness by virtue of being methodical and well organized. The act of forming or establishing something. The activity or result of distributing or disposing persons or things properly or methodically. A group of people who work together. The act of organizing a business or an activity related to a business. An organized structure for arranging or classifying. The persons, are committees or departments, etc., who make up a body for the purpose of administering something. An ordered manner, orderliness by virtue of being methodical and well organized. His compulsive organization was not an endearing quality. The act of forming or establishing something. He still remembers the organization of the club. The activity or result of distributing or disposing persons or things properly or methodically. His organization of the workforce was very efficient. A group of people who work together. The act of organizing a business or an activity related to a business. He was brought in to supervise the organization of a new department. An organized structure for arranging or classifying. The facts were familiar, but it was in the organization of them that he was original. An organization founded and united for a specific purpose. The act of starting something for the first time, introducing something new. A hospital for mentally incompetent or unbalanced person. A custom that for a long time has been an important feature of some group or society. The institution of marriage. An establishment consisting of a building or complex of buildings where an organization for the promotion of some cause is situated. The act of validating, finding or testing the truth of something. The cognitive process of establishing a valid proof. Ecology. The process by which a plant or animal becomes established in a new habitat. Law determining the fundamental political principles of a government. The act of forming or establishing something. The constitution of a PTA group last year. The way in which someone or something is composed. The Constitution written at the Constitutional Convention in Philadelphia in 1787 and subsequently ratified by the original 13 states. A United States 44-gun frigate that was one of the first 3 naval ships built by the United States. It won brilliant victories over British frigates during the War of 1812 and is without doubt the most famous ship in the history of the United States Navy. It has been rebuilt and is anchored in the Charlestown Navy Yard in Boston. Geology, the geological features of the Earth. The act of forming or establishing something. The act of fabricating something in a particular shape. An arrangement of people or things acting as a unit. A defensive formation. A particular spatial arrangement. Creation by mental activity. The formation of sentences. Natural process that causes something to form. The formation of gas in the intestine. The property of holding together and retaining its shape. Wool has more body than rayon. A resonating chamber in a musical instrument, as the body of a violin. Invest with or as with a body. Give body to. The entire physical structure of an organism, an animal, plant, or human being. He felt as if his whole body were on fire. The body excluding the head and neck and limbs. A natural object consisting of a dead animal or person. They found the body in the lake. A collection of particulars considered as a system. A body of law. A group of persons associated by some common tie or occupation and regarded as an entity. The whole body filed out of the auditorium. An individual three-dimensional object that has mass and that is distinguishable from other objects. Heavenly body. The central message of a communication. The body of the message was short. The external structure of a vehicle. The body of the car was badly rusted. The main mass of a thing. The act of validating, finding or testing the truth of something. Any factual evidence that helps to establish the truth of something. If you have any proof for what you say, now is the time to produce it. Printing, an impression made to check for errors. Read for errors. I should proofread my manuscripts. Activate by mixing with water and sometimes sugar or milk. Proof yeast. A formal series of statements showing that if one thing is true, something else necessarily follows from it. A measure of alcoholic strength expressed as an integer twice the percentage of alcohol present, by volume. A trial photographic print from a negative. Need to reach proper lightness. Proof dough. Make or take a proof of, such as a photographic negative, an etching, or typeset. Make resistant to harm. Proof the materials against shrinking in the dryer. Used in combination or as a suffix, able to withstand. Temptation proof. Any factual evidence that helps to establish the truth of something. A process existing in or produced by nature, rather than by the intent of human beings. A military engagement. He saw action in Korea. A judicial proceeding brought by one party against another. One party prosecutes another for a wrong done or for protection of a right or for prevention of a wrong. The operating part that transmits power to a mechanism. The piano had a very stiff action. Institute legal proceedings against. File a suit against. She actioned the company for discrimination. Put in effect. He actioned the operation. The state of being active. He is out of action. A process existing in or produced by nature, rather than by the intent of human beings. The action of natural forces. An act by a government body or supranational organization. Recent federal action undermined the segregationist position. Something done, usually as opposed to something said. There were stories of murders and other unnatural actions. The most important or interesting work or activity in a specific area or field. The action is no longer in technology stocks but in municipal bonds. The series of events that form a plot. His novels always have a lot of action. The trait of being active and energetic and forceful. A man of action. An organic process that takes place in the body. Respiratory activity. The state of being active. His sphere of activity. The trait of being active, moving or acting rapidly and energetically. The level of activity declines with age. A process existing in or produced by nature, rather than by the intent of human beings. Volcanic activity. Any specific behavior. They avoided all recreational activity. Chemistry, the capacity of a substance to take part in a chemical reaction. Catalytic activity. A process existing in or produced by nature, rather than by the intent of human beings. The time at which something is supposed to begin. An academic exercise in which diplomas are conferred. The act of starting something. Serving to begin. The beginning canto of the poem. The time at which something is supposed to begin. The place where something begins, where it springs into being. The Italian beginning of the Renaissance. The act of starting something. He was responsible for the beginning of negotiations. The event consisting of the start of something. The beginning of the war. The first part or section of something. It was a dark and stormy night, is a hackneyed beginning for a story. Get off the ground. Who started this company? Bulge outward. The time at which something is supposed to begin. They got an early start. Begin work or acting in a certain capacity, office or job. Start a new job. Get going or set in motion. We simply could not start the engine. A line indicating the location of the start of a race or a game. Have a beginning, in a temporal, spatial, or evaluative sense. Prices for these homes start at $250,000. A signal to begin, as in a race. The starting signal was a green light. Bring into being. A turn to be a starter, in a game at the beginning. He got his start because one of the regular pitchers was in the hospital. Set in motion, cause to start. The U.S. started a war in the Middle East. Take the first step or steps in carrying out an action. Who will start? Begin an event that is implied and limited by the nature or inherent function of the direct object. She started the soup while it was still hot. A sudden involuntary movement. He awoke with a start. Begin or set in motion. I start at 8 in the morning. Have a beginning characterized in some specified way. Leave. Move or jump suddenly, as if in surprise or alarm. She startled when I walked into the room. The advantage gained by beginning early, as in a race. With an hour's start he will be hard to catch. The act of starting something. Play in the starting lineup. The beginning of anything. It was off to a good start. The people in a society considered as a system organized by a characteristic pattern of relationships. Sociologists have studied the changing structure of the family. A particular complex anatomical part of a living thing and its construction and arrangement. He has good bone structure. A thing constructed. A complex entity constructed of many parts. The structure consisted of a series of arches. Give a structure to. I need to structure my days. The complex composition of knowledge as elements and their combinations. His lectures have no structure. The manner of construction of something and the arrangement of its parts. Artists must study the structure of the human body. The commercial activity involved in repairing old structures or constructing new ones. Their main business is home construction. The act of constructing something. During the construction we had to take a detour. An interpretation of a text or action. They put an unsympathetic construction on his conduct. The creation of a construct. The process of combining ideas into a congruous object of thought. A group of words that form a constituent of a sentence and are considered as a single unit. I concluded from his awkward constructions that he was a foreigner. A thing constructed. A complex entity constructed of many parts. She wore her hair in an amazing construction of whorls and ribbons. Drawing a figure satisfying certain conditions as part of solving a problem or proving a theorem. The assignment was to make a construction that could be used in proving the Pythagorean theorem. Persons who administer justice. The system of law courts that administer justice and constitute the judicial branch of government. The act of managing something. He was given overall management of the program. Those in charge of running a business. People elected or appointed to administer a government. People elected or appointed to administer a government. Someone who manages a government agency or department. A person responsible for the administration of a business. persons who administer the law. Having the function of carrying out plans or orders, etc. The executive branch. Roman Catholic Church, the central administration governing the Roman Catholic Church. The elected governing body of a county.
Become our student and get access to effective and free educational materials. Subscribe to our YouTube channel to become a part of our growing YouTube community and to learn English effectively.